Okay, we're feeling fancy today. We're feeling luxurious. I want to talk about luxury. First of all, having a luxurious space doesn't always have to be the goal. There's a lot of other kinds of spaces you could want to have, really casual, really comfy, really earthy, whatever. But sometimes we want luxury. Sometimes we be fancy as hell out here. And luxury is about a lot more than just having like a palatial home made of Carrara marble. It's a lot more than just that. These like super expensive, unattainable things that we think, oh, well, I can't have like a luxurious feeling home until I get that. I'm gonna change the way that you think about luxury. There is a lot more to it. Stuff that's affordable, accessible, you can incorporate into your rental home, apartment, cupboard under the stairs, wherever you live. We can have luxury today. Let's talk about it. Okay, I'm reading off some notes here. And I'm gonna use some examples in my apartment, not because my apartment is the perfect example of anything, but just because I live here and I feel like it. And I realized when I film my vlogs and stuff, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of corners of the apartment I never film in. So we're gonna try and take advantage of this place before I burn it to the ground. Okay, I'm gonna start this video off with a controversial opinion, because I love making enemies. I can't stop. Controversial opinion. To me, luxury is a lot about minimizing. Now hear me out. That doesn't mean that you have to have a minimalist style at all. You can minimize and still have an eclectic style, you know, whatever. You can have a million different styles with a minimal, pared down, edited look. To me, the most important part of designing is editing, what you're taking out. When I see a lot of knickknacks, a lot of little like tiny objects, accessories everywhere, that's not a bad look. It's just a different look, but it to me does feel a little younger, as opposed to editing down to like the single items you really love that are high quality, and you don't need a lot of them. You can have one of one, and that feels more sophisticated. So I'm not saying you have to pare down. I'm not saying you can't like a more like cluttered, knick-knacky look, but to me that look does read younger and less sophisticated, less luxurious. Now let me tell you the magic. This is the magic of paring down your space. When you pare down, let's say, okay, I could do a whole gallery wall situation over here. I've done one over there. I like it over there. But here, I have like two accessories. I have a sconce and I have a little painted frame. And when I look in this angle from the doorway, this is all I see. It is so simple. And when you pare down, it makes the thing you have sacred. It makes it sacred. It's so much fun. It's like this divine little painting. This is our one painting. It kind of makes me think of the magic of playing with dolls when I was younger. For me, a lot of the magic of playing with dolls was that like the Felicity American Girl doll, she has one pot, she has one pot, she has one book, she has one pencil, and the items become sacred. So when you're playing doll house in your own home, when you pare down, it makes that item sacred. Instead of having 100 picture frames or 10 little jars and pots and lamps, when you edit down and you choose the one that's great, A, you can spend more money on it and get a higher quality whatever, because you're not buying 10, and it makes that thing feel sacred. That's luxury. That's why I really recommend the pare down. I am obsessed recently with just having this one like social pariah of a red vase in the corner here. It's pared down, it's simple. It's not fancy, but it feels sacred. It feels so intentional. It feels like it's commanding the room. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. Okay, cutie patooties, let me tell you what. Never met a lamp I didn't like, okay? If you want to buy something, you need to do a little shopping to feel good. I get it. Sometimes you want to minimize, and sometimes we just want to burn money to feel good. Buy a lamp. Lamps are part of the jewelry of your home, investing in a lighting fixture overhead. We got one of those dingle dangles. We got a table lamp. We got a floor lamp. We got a sconce. Investing in one of these, I've never regretted it. The only time I've regretted it is when I've skimped and gotten something like poor quality. So get a nice one. It can be a centerpiece. It can be like the pop of color that makes the whole room. It can be the place where you get to bring in different shapes, different contours and profiles to your space. The lamp is the jewelry of the room, okay? We could go out wearing our little black dress that we wear to the office. Simple, basic, classic. But we put on the jewels and then it's day to night. It's time to party. Take me to the club. I hate clubs. I don't know anything really about nightlife because I don't really do it. But buy a lamp, buy a lamp. Wow. Boys and girls, okay, while we're minimizing, let's talk about investing. One of my favorite things to do is to kind of ridiculously invest in my tiny accessories. Not ridiculously, like I'm not trying to, you know, put myself into debt over accessories, but I think it can feel easy to skimp on your accessories or get something that's like a cheap material or like a fake dupe of something. And that's not the end of the world, but when you invest in accessories that are high quality, and again, we're not buying a ton of them. We're trying to get like one alabaster, this is probably a salt cellar, but I use it to hold my earplugs. One alabaster earplug holder, and it's one of like the 4 accessories on my nightstand. It feels so high quality. It feels like rich. Yeah, it's like eating a really rich chocolate cake. You don't need the whole cake. I might accept the whole cake, but I don't need the whole cake. So we're gonna pare down and then make sure that the accessories you have are high quality. Of course, I like to get some like, you know, I'm a human person. I get cheap, like flimsy stuff sometimes too. But when you come across an accessory that you just love and you're like, ugh, 30 bucks for like this tiny little doodah, that's 2 salads at Sweet Green. I might choose to do it because we're not going to buy a ton of them. I'm going to keep it forever. It's high quality, and every time I physically interact with it, you can feel the quality. And on the contrary, when you physically interact with an accessory that like feels cheap, you feel it. And the scene might look luxurious in an Instagram photo, but you're designing for yourself to interact in the space. So get things that feel luxurious when you interact with them. This tray, I probably paid too much for this tray, and I just have one, and I freaking love it. Little oval, I'll link this stuff. One very intentionally chosen vase, okay? Everything that's here, things actually weren't that expensive, but everything is like a good material, high quality, very thoughtful. That's luxury, baby. Was it necessary for me to buy a designated throne for my Q-tips? No, certainly it was not. But now, every time I use a Q-tip, I feel like a monarch. Okay, let me tell you what, I'm about to yell about this one. Do not invite me over. Do not welcome me onto your sofa and give me no place to put my cup down. I refuse. I refuse, and I won't be coming back. I'm gonna be holding a cup, I'm gonna be holding my phone, I'm gonna be holding something, and I want a place to put it down. Everybody does. There's a great quote by the British designer Rita Koenig that's something about how luxury is having everything at arm's length. Everything within reach that you need for the functionality of a room. That's what luxury is. It's like not having to try so hard to live in your space. Don't tell me that you don't have enough space for a side table. Let me tell you about this, okay? I don't want to hear about it. You can do a tiny little drinks table. You can do a tiny little shelf. You can do stuff, okay? I don't know what I just pointed at. For every seat in your living room, a guest should be able to sit down anywhere and have somewhere within arm's reach to put a glass down, to put their phone down. Or, you know, forget about your guests. I hate people. Maybe it's just for you. If you know you are always working and studying in your living room, have that set up, accessible, easy. You don't have to move all the furniture around every time. Luxury is making sure all the functions of the space are easily achievable. And don't make me look like an idiot sitting there holding my glass like a ding dong, putting my phone and losing it in the couch cushions. Don't do that to me. One of my favorite corners in my apartment. And let me tell you what, this is what's great about a small space. If you have a small space, you probably have all these like weirdo nooks and crannies, or maybe not even a nook, but just like a tiny wall moment. Take advantage of that tiny moment and make it into a vignette. Make it a moment. Complete the vignette. Often to complete a vignette, which is kind of just like a self-contained, I think of it as like a self-contained little ecosystem of a design moment. You'll usually need at least 3 pieces. So if you've already gotten a corner like a chair and a lamp, you might need a little side table. Or if you've already got like a table, you might need like your artworks and a vase. Vase. Why did I say vase that way? That was so pretentious. And you can also have a lot more pieces than that. But when you have those like little moments in your space, maximize them. Complete. This is what I always think to myself is like, complete the vignette. Where are the opportunities for vignettes? You don't have 80 vignettes in your room. It's gonna feel overwhelming, then it's gonna feel like clutter. But choosing the places where it's like, ooh, this can be a moment. It's really hard to film the whole corner over here because it's very tight in my apartment, but I'll try and give you a scan. Vignette, self-contained little ecosystem of a moment. Random little moment over here. We don't have to do anything with it, but this, completing the vignette, is very different from this. Now it's a nothing, now it's a 0. I mean, it's fine, no one's getting in trouble, but this is very different from this. Now we're in an estate. Another hot tip for you. Create an immersive experience. An immersive experience can be accomplished via color, painting the room one cohesive color so that you never see the color stop. Goes to the floor, goes to the ceiling, goes all over the walls, whatever. It could mean that you use a lot of something to create an immersive experience. And here, I have not minimized in my hallway, like I spoke about earlier. Instead, it is covered in artworks and prints and photographs and nonsense. However, I've made sure to get like frames in the same color family, so it's not too busy on the eye, and then they all kind of work together. And it's kind of the effect of like a wallpaper going all the way up the walls. It's like an experience of frames going all over the walls. The key is to like not break it up with 100 different color frames. That's when you get this immersive experience that's one fluid thing. You can do it with tiling. You can do it a million different ways. Basically focus on like, how can you avoid breaking up the space too much visually? Trying to make it one fluid thing. You can actually do an immersive experience with like a ton of patterns going on, so long as the patterns are complementary. It's not like one jumping out more than the other, and it kind of feels like one continuous experience. Basically just focus on trying to make the room feel as unified as possible instead of breaking it up into a bunch of smaller parts. You can have smaller functions, like there's a dining area of the living room and there's a sitting area and there's a reading area, but those are just functions as opposed to like visually breaking it up. I am very excited about these shoes, and I put them on for no reason other than to show you them. I also want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Upside. The deal with Upside is super simple. It's an app, it's a free app. It lets you earn cash back when you do everyday things like buy groceries, get gas, go to restaurants. I got Chipotle earlier and I was able to get cash back on that. As is well known on this channel, I'm a very lazy person, so anything I use, it has to already fit into my routines and it has to be very easy to use. The app is super easy. You just like pull up to gas, groceries, wherever you're going to have an experience. You check in at the location, you pay as usual with credit card, debit card. It doesn't work for cash. Cash back will appear in your Upside account and you can cash out at any time. It's really simple. I'm getting like a handful of dollars back every time I make a gas purchase, a groceries purchase that I was gonna make anyway. And yes, if you're wondering, it is real cash back, cash deposited into your checking account. Top users of the app earn up to like $300 back in a month. More average users will earn about like $340 in a year. So the dollars add up. It's very easy to use. It's just like pretty straightforward to me. If you can find out how much you can earn back, you can click the link in the description of this video. Download the 𝐿𝐍𝐒 app, it's free. And use the code Caroline, you can get 25 cents back on every gallon for your first tank of gas. I'll take it. TLDR, the app is free, it fits into my existing habits, and it is real cash that you earn back. That's all. Thank you, 𝐿𝐍𝐒. I'm obsessed with this stool. I love this stool. The stool was my mom's stool when she was a child, and then it was like my siblings and my stool when we were kids. I love it. Let me tell you the heck what. One of the most important rules when decorating for a small space is that you actually want to keep the scale of things large. Just because you have a small space doesn't mean you want to go small on everything you own. That can actually really make your space feel dinkier, feel smaller. In general, I would almost entirely dissuade shopping the like apartment furniture section of a lot of stores. You know, places like West Elm or whatever will have like apartment sized, and apartment sized means small. It just means small. Sometimes it means weirdly low to the ground. It often just means like it's not a fully functional chair for like a human person. It's not a fully functional couch if you really want to be loungy and cozy. Like there's some times where you might want to shop the apartment section, but in general, I would warn against it. And in addition to dinkier furniture making your room actually look smaller, like if it doesn't use up the space in the right way, it's also just not comfortable to use. If you have a sofa that technically fits in the space but like isn't comfortable to use, what is the point? The point is to be able to use your space, to have people over, if you have nowhere to sit, if people can't share it, like, you know, whatever. Use the larger pieces. Just because it's a smaller space does not mean you need to go small on scale. Actually going large on scale, using the whole wall with your artwork, using like a giant art piece, having a really generous sofa, that's what luxury feels like. And maybe that means in a small space with a large sofa, you don't have as many accent chairs. That's fine. I have, you know, a tiny dinky accent chair, so I can allow for a large 𝐿𝐍𝐒 sofa in my living room. But the functionality that is there, instead of trying to get like 20 seats in to a small space, get 4 that are super, super comfortable. Keep, you know, don't bail on the scale. Ooh. Oh, that was catchy. Don't bail on the scale. Wow, 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 wow. Delightful. Okay, y'all, let me warn you against a disease. The disease of right angles in your home. The disease of right angles. It's running rampant. The disease of right angles is the venereal disease of interior design. It is very, very easy to end up with like a Tetris-like look of just right angles everywhere. And instead, something that can lend a little more sophistication is to throw in a curve or two. Don't go wild on the curves. Don't go Urban Outfitters like too ultra modern trendy on the curves. It's gonna look fake. But if you just throw in a curve or two, a tasteful curve or two, that is the antibiotic you need to cure the disease. It's going to add a luxurious feel, and it's really easy to get caught in this kind of Tetris of rectangles everywhere. So sometimes it's something I have to like actively think about, is like, did I put a nice curve or two in this room? And it could be in the pleat of your lampshade, like I showed earlier. It could be in the back of the curve of a chair. It could be in your coffee table. As an aside, I've decided recently I hate coffee tables. I don't know why. I'm working on a subscriber room makeover right now, BTW, stay tuned. And I'm trying to find a coffee table, and I'm like, even if I paid $1 million for a coffee table, I like hate all of them. I want to boycott coffee tables. Coffee tables suck. I'm so mad at them. Basically, incorporate a curve or two. It doesn't have to be everywhere. Be reasonable, but it's really easy to completely overlook the curvature, variation in profile. Baby loves, if there is anything you take away from this video, is that luxury is not about buying more and spending more and covering everything in marble. It's usually about paring down. It's usually about editing. It's usually about caring to invest in a few things that you really, really love, and then not having to rebuy them. Keeping them for a long time because they're not falling apart, they're not deteriorating, they don't feel like trash when you use them. Luxury, I think, can be very accessible. You might have access to it in your home with the things you already have. Take a few items out of the room, pare it down, see how art looks different, how it stands out more when you just have one frame up there, when you take some of the clutter away from it. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of everything you own, but maybe some of it isn't like immediately visible in your space. Maybe some of it's behind a closed door. Maybe some of it you rotate. I have knickknacks. I'm down with knickknacks. I'm not anti-knickknack, but they're not everywhere all the time. And I kind of rotate knickknacks that I display in my home. It's a fun way to redecorate without having to buy a ton of new stuff. You know, I might like rotate out one vase and one little figurine and put another one away. So I get to refresh my space all the time. It's not overwhelming. It still feels pared down, intentional, edited, hot, luxury, sophisticate, mommy, like whatever the adjective is you're looking for. Start with editing. Start with editing down, centering yourself, la 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 la. I'm so tired of talking, and you've got to be tired of listening to me. Thanks for being here. I will see you soon. Stay tuned for that subscriber room makeover. That's not coming out for a while, but it is going to be cute as hell. I'll tell you that. It's going to be cute. It's going to be cute as can be, dude.